This is it, the final F1 22 preview video. As always, a massive shout out to the EA Creator Network for making this possible. If you guys are going to enjoy this career mode episode, leave a like and subscribe as we're on the run to 100,000 subs. Any help, guys, would be massively appreciated. So if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for more F1 22 gameplay. But in the background, you're going to be seeing some career mode footage. Now, we're saving the My Team stuff for when the actual game releases. I don't really want to spoil anything, and I want to keep it exciting for when it actually does come around. So, for now, we're going to focus on driver career, and we're going to drive around Silverstone in today's episode. And the key thing I want to show off here is how the menus work, the upgrade system, the R&D events, and also the practice programs, which I've not seen much of, and I thought I'd cover it for you guys and show off how they work. And then we've also got a Pirelli hot lap event at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. But we're going to jump into round number 1 of a 10 race career mode season, and it's going to be at Silverstone. Now, we're driving in the McLaren here today, Lando Norris, our teammate, as you may have seen a moment ago. And you can see in the background we're currently going through the upgrades and purchasing as many as we can before the season starts. Now though, we're going to jump into the first of the department events, and this is for marketing. And we have a Q&A. I had to accept or decline. I went ahead and accepted it. It doesn't actually tell you what the consequences are though, which I like. So you're not going to know what's going to happen until further on down the line. So I went ahead and answered a few questions, and it all seemed okay. We gained a bit of driver acclaim, and with that we had a successful event. There was one later on in the episode which I actually declined, so I won't know what the consequence is, but you can see all the upgrades on screen that we have ready for the car in round 1.
We had a major issue on the production line earlier this week, so the entire development package for the weekend has failed. Any redevelopments will need to be ordered from the R&D screen.
Now, unfortunately, every single upgrade failed. Now, we went to repurchase, and you can see we have to wait 83 days for the replacement to arrive. Now, this might have to do with the fact it's a 10 race season, so there's a lot more breaks between races, and there is a season break coming up. But even still, that's a big gap. So I wonder if maybe in this year's game there is a higher price to pay for failed upgrades, having to wait even longer for them to arrive on the car. Possible little bit of information there. We'll see how that works out though in a full 22 race season. That aside, eventually all the upgrades came through second time around, and we went through the season break, and now we're ready for round 1, inverted commas, at Silverstone. Let's go.
Our new parts have completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
Now before we jump into it, here's the confirmation of an upgrade in pretty much every single department this weekend. I also found out, I don't know if this is a thing on the new game or not, but you can actually change the session length and the qualifying format in this preview screen, which is something I didn't realise before, and to me seems new, so bonus information, I guess.
Hello folks, and welcome to Paddock Pass, your pre-race edition for this, the inaugural round of the 2022 Formula 1 World Championship. And I've got to say, it feels great to be back. As is tradition, there is something of an air of a first day back at school on arrival here. But it's more than that, because the new era of Formula 1 has arrived. And with it, the eagerly anticipated new car regulations, which have been designed to help promote better racing. With clean sculpted lines, swooping rear and front wings, which should allow cars to follow each other more closely, new eye-catching 18-inch low-profile tyres, the return of ground effect, and a reduction of aerodynamic physical adornments, the new cars look strikingly different, all while improving safety and pushing the limit of technical ingenuity. So then, which teams have interpreted the rules most effectively, and which drivers will adapt to their new car the quickest, leading the charge against the rest of the pack? Only time will tell. As always, we can't wait for this season to begin, but for now, from us, catch you.
Thank you very much, Will Buxton, for the season preview. Now, here we are, race weekend at Silverstone, and we're in practice, and you can see we have a revamped menu screen showing off the telemetry of said practice program. So I thought I'd give them a go and show them off to you guys and see how they work. So here we are in the McLaren, and we're gonna complete our first time the lap in the race strategy program. I then went ahead and finished the remaining 4 laps And you'll see here on lap 3 we get the purple score. I then done the extra 2 laps as well, just to get the full information. And job done, practice program complete. And we went back to the pit lane to analyze the data. And we have these brand new telemetry graphs which look really, really awesome. So the first one here, the most important one, is the overall tyre wear. And you can see we're actually better than what is projected. As for lap time performance, we are way under the benchmark. I was running 105 AI for this test because Silverstone was the best circuit for that AI on last year's game. So I'm kind of taking that as a guess. This might be the hardest circuit on the game. We then moved on to the ERS management program, and this is the brand new AR system, which is really, really cool to see. It's like an active kind of, graph of your inputs, and you can see here we were able to eventually maximize the ERS. We had a bit of trouble getting it saved up in the first part of the lap, but eventually towards the end we saved it up quite comfortably as we were up on the delta, and across the line we get a purple score and we get the job done. Now, with that said, we went back to the pit lane and we went to analyze the data. You can see the areas of the lap where we managed to harvest battery, good, bad, or perfect, which is really cool to see this kind of detail. And then also the graph has been expanded upon to see it in better detail on the pit screen monitor. Now, with that said, we're going to jump into qualifying, and I'll let you guys enjoy this qualifying lap with engine sound alone with the Mercedes power unit.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. The 3.6 mile long Silverstone circuit is one of the longest of the season, with 18 corners in the current layout. With average lap speeds reaching around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the quickest tracks of the year. Watch out for cars taking the right-handers of Abbey and of Copse flat out. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Russell, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Gasly, and Mick Schumacher, Norris, Magnussen, Guan Yu Zhou, and Ocon, Tsunoda, Vettel, Lance Stroll, and Martinez, Albon, and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. So here we are in 2022 at the start of another Formula One World Championship. It all begins here, the start of the next generation of Formula One. With the end of the second turbocharged era, a new dawn begins. New regulations have been brought in to promote better racing, with the 2 big standout changes being the wheel size increase and the aerodynamics on the car itself. But will this result in us having a repeat fight for the Driver Championship? Will Mercedes retain their Constructors' title? We have lots to discuss then with Anthony Davidson, who's joined me in the commentary box for today's event.
It's good to be back. Let's hope for some good racing today. We can't know at this point how competitive these teams are relative to each other, but hopefully nobody is able to run and hide. We want to see these drivers pushing to the limit all the way to the checkered flag.
Now then, here we go. A 5-lap race to try and cram into this video. The lights are on at Silverstone. P18 on the grid, and we are underway here at Silverstone, and it's not a bad start from us, but I've noticed in this build of the game the AI are absolutely ridiculous at race start, so I do hope that does get patched. I think it is going to get patched. I've heard a rumor it is, so yeah, hopefully they fix that. But anyway, turn 3 up the inside of a couple of Williams and I believe Sonoda as well. Outside now, turn 4, trying to get the move as we have a big snapper oversteer there, which allows Sonoda to get back alongside as we get into a drag race with the AlphaTauri down into Brooklands. We're going to try and swing this one completely around the outside, which gives us the inside line into Luffield. Zhou and Vettel side by side ahead of us here as we move up into P16, and so far a decent start with 2 places gained. Into Cops, a downshift, trying to carry that speed as we can see the AI much more improved now around the circuit. Last year, of course, there was the infamous bug where the AI was super quick in the high-speed corners like Cops, you know, Zandvoort, Pouon, Spa. That is thankfully gone. So really big plus in terms of the gameplay on that front. As we are currently on the hangar straight, side by side up ahead there with Lando Norris, our teammate, and Zhou Guanyu. Sebastian Vettel getting caught up as we get the run out of Stowe, and now side by side into the final chicane. We're going to go around the outside of the 4-time world champion and make the move into P14 as we have a car in the pit lane as well. Zhou and Norris side by side into turn 1 as now Sebastian Vettel is coming back at us side by side through here as we try to hang on. Still going to get squeezed on the apex of 2, and that allows Sonoda back through, and you can see here it's all kicking off as the AI are getting super aggressive. But then into turn 4 we just hit the back of Vettel and get wing damage, which was quite a light tap to be fair, but sim damage is going to be quite aggressive this year by the looks of it. And we got left front end plate damage, so there, right there at Brooklands, we managed to force Sebastian Vettel into the dummy, defend the inside, cut back underneath, and he runs in wide. And pretty much after this point, because of the damage, I wasn't able to progress any further, and yeah, P14 is where we're going to end. Having said that, another example that wing damage is okay in this game and you can survive and get by. As you can see here, lap 5, I still have DRS on Zhou Guanyu and Lando ahead, and I managed to hold on, you know, with wing damage. I only dropped off because my battery ran out as I was compensating, but you can survive with damage if necessary. So end of the 5-lap race, we finished in P14. Decent recovery there, and you've seen the practice programs.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Park Ferme.
You've seen, of course, the one-shot qualifying with the engine sound, and I've just shown you a brief glimpse of the race with the AI and how the damage works. So quite a few things covered in this video. After the race, we had a Pirelli hot lap around Austria. We had 2 options, an autocross or a time attack, and we're going to go ahead and choose, I believe, the autocross option. We're going to see if we can successfully achieve it. So there is on the right hand side the reference points. So 136 is gold. We're going to try and beat that as the lights go out here at the Red Bull Ring. Underway, I've managed to get my handbrake assigned, so we should be able to pull off a couple of nice drifts as we make our way up to turn number 3. Already flicking the handbrake on there. This was a sweet one right here. I managed to brake, get a hit at the handbrake, and then carry that drift all the way through onto the exit as we now make our way down to turn number 4, trying to zigzag our way through the gates and without touching the cones, otherwise you get a 5-second penalty, and if you take out a cone or miss a gate, I believe, sorry, you get a 10-second penalty. So you can see here turn 4 trying to recover, but we just run it in a bit too deep and hit one of the cones, so a 5-second penalty there. Still want to keep pushing on though as we make our way into the end of sector 2. now into the downhill section, triggering the handbrake again there to try and activate a drift as we get all crossed up, and because of that, we're going to miss that gate and get 10 seconds added to our time. Through turn number 8, now turn 7 I believe, now into turn number 8, drifting our way through, making it nicely through the gates, as we now have 2 more corners remaining and a couple of gates before we cross the start finish. Trying to see if we can beat the lap time, which is not going to be gold, 1:36, that's going to get away from us due to the penalties. But maybe we could still get bronze if we're lucky, as we make our way through these very tight gates now at turns 9 and 10. Onto the main straight now, drifting our way through there beautifully, and we navigate through the chicanes, and there we go, a 1 minute 49.3. And if you shave off 15 seconds, which is what we got of penalties, it would have been a 1:34, which would have been enough for gold, but eventually we settled for bronze. But yeah guys, that is it for me in this video and the preview. I tried to cram in as much as I could, and a bit of an insight into also my team with the Pirelli hot laps and that kind of stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did. Let's try and smash over 3,000 likes. Subscribe for more. As I mentioned, we're on the run to 100,000 subs, and any help would be massively appreciated. The game launch is just a week away pretty much, so do keep it locked in, tuned in here for when the game eventually drops, notifications on, all that good stuff, because content will be on its way very soon. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled. My team Part 0 also coming out very, very soon. But until then guys, as always, a massive shout out to the members for supporting the content. Finally, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.